everybody, welcome back. Well, we're going to take a little break from all the guitar lessons we do here on the channel to talk about this very, very interesting guitar that was sent to me. Now, if it looks familiar, it's probably for good reason. So this is based on a guitar that Prince used in the studio and live. It was his #1 guitar for many, many years. That was a Hohner Mad Cat built in the 70s. This one is built by Firefly. It's the FFTL Mad Cat. It sells for currently less than $200 US, so an incredible deal. I'm going to go through all the specs in the video. I'm going to play a little bit for you, and I'm also going to be giving one of these away. The giveaway rules will be toward the end of the video if you want to check those out. All right, let's go ahead and jump on into it. Now, as I'm going through the specs here, I'm going to try and call out where they differ from the original Hohner model. Starting with the body, it's a mahogany body. The original was ash, which is more common or traditional for Tele or T-style guitars. So this has mahogany. Mahogany is not typical in a T-style guitar. So that's a very important distinction right there. Now, the original had a flamed maple top and a flamed maple back. This one has flamed maple veneer on the top and the back. It's going to be a lot thinner. And it still looks pretty nice, though, I think, for a veneer. If you catch it at the right angle, too, looks really cool. Now, just like the original, we've got the tortoiseshell binding for the top and back. That looks really lovely, really cool. We've got, just like the original, a walnut strip down the center of the front and the back. So aesthetically, I mean, this thing looks so much like the original. Unless you had them up close, you probably wouldn't know that it's a veneer necessarily. Anyway, I think they did a really good job trying to match the aesthetics and appearance of the original. Now, here's where some of the components really start to differ and is going to impact the sound. The pickups are not Telecaster style pickups. Just like Prince's original Hohner, these are Strat style pickups. It's very important to call that out. They have Alnico 5 magnets in them, so a little bit on the bright side. And I'd say for the price, they're fine. Now, obviously you could do what Prince did and you could upgrade them to noiseless single coils if you want. That's what he did on his Hohner, but that's obviously something for you to decide. Now, another important distinction is the bridge. Notice that this is not your traditional Telecaster style bridge. It's a fixed hardtail bridge. It looks like a Strat hardtail bridge, okay? You can see it has individual saddles like a Strat, and you don't have that big metal plate, which is such a pivotal or important component within your typical Telecaster. In place of the plate, you've got this little mini pickguard, which matches the pickguard up here, which is kind of a tortoiseshell leopard kind of print, just like the original. And then for the controls, this is very Tele-like. You've got the little control plate here with a 3-way switch, volume, and tone. Now, moving on to the neck, we've got a maple neck here, which it's kind of a full C shape, right? It's not a thin shred neck. It's not a big baseball bat vintage neck. It's kind of somewhere in between. It reminds me a lot of the neck that I have on my Fender Strat and my Fender Tele, which is the American Professional Series. So not too big, not too small, comfortable enough for someone like me who doesn't have giant hands. So I like the neck profile. Now we've got a maple fretboard. It's pretty flat. I thought I read somewhere that it's a 15-inch radius. Could be wrong, but it's probably somewhere in that vicinity, very flat. Now the frets are stainless steel. It's a nice little upgrade there. They are medium sized. There's 21, which is an odd number, both literally and figuratively. Most people don't have guitars with 21 frets. They have 22 or 24, although 21 is really kind of a harkening back to the original Strat and Tele necks back in the early days. And for some people, it's not really that big of a deal, but for some, they might find it kind of awkward when they go up to do that 22nd fret high E bend up to the E note. Now you're going to have to do it from the 21st fret. So that might be a little weird to some people at first, but at the end of the day, it's kind of a minor thing. And let's see what else is worth calling out. Oh, the nut. We've got a bone nut, great at this price point. And then up at the headstock, nothing too exciting there. We've got traditional 6-in-line tuners and some string trees. Now, in terms of the playability, right out of the box, it did need a neck adjustment. There was way too much buzz. I couldn't even play these notes down here without them completely fretting out. So I did, of course, have to adjust the neck to address that. Strings needed to be changed, which, you know, factory strings coming from China, that's not uncommon, right? You're going to change your strings anyway. Other than that, I think it plays pretty nicely. They are medium frets, So if you're used to big jumbo frets and that's something that might be important to you, so keep that in mind too. But otherwise, I think it's a very comfortable guitar. So next I'm going to let you hear how it sounds. Now obviously it's going to sound different through your rig than it's going to sound through mine. We all have different fingers, all those different variables that go into this. I'm going to be running it through my Line 6 Helix processor. Again, start with a clean tone, go into some dirty stuff, and then we'll come back and summarize and wrap it up. Okay, so starting with the bridge pickup. So you can see it's got that very thin, wiry, Strat bridge pickup sound. Let's try a little funk with it. Now for the neck pickup. Okay, now we move to the middle position, which is both pickups. And again, keeping in mind that these are Strat pickups, this is really cool because typically on a Strat, you don't have the ability to combine your bridge and your neck pickups together, right? The bite of the bridge with the roundness of the neck. You've got all the other in-between positions, but you can't typically combine those two unless it's been modded or some high-end Strats can do that. But generally speaking, you can't. So that's one thing that's really cool about this instrument. Okay, let's add some effects on top of that and hear how this guitar sounds when we try to play the Purple Rain chords. So we're going to start with the bridge position. Now the neck position. Okay, now both pickups. And again, for me, that middle position, I absolutely love it. All right, switching over to a lead tone. And typically when I use a guitar with single coil pickups, I tend not to go for a super high gain tone. I just prefer it to be a little more dynamic. Now there's quite a bit of gain I'm going to be using, but it's not going to be an all-out sort of heavy metal lead tone. Okay, so starting with the bridge pickup. Now the neck position. Okay, now both pickups. Okay, now we're going to add some effects to the lead guitar tone, and I'm going to play over that track at the beginning. I'm going to play that same solo I did, but using the different pickups. Okay, now that we've gone through the specs and I played a little bit for you, what are my final thoughts? Well, I think for $200 US, it's a pretty good value. It's not the only Mad Cat copy out there. Eastwood makes one. It goes for about $1,000 more. Now, I haven't tried that one, so I can't tell you which one's the better value for your dollar, but at $200 US, I can only say this is a really good value. Now, again, I want to emphasize this is not your traditional Telecaster copy. All right. I mean, put aside the fact that you've got the different types of woods. It's funny, mahogany with a maple top. I mean, that makes me think of a Les Paul, even though it's a maple veneer. But still, again, there's a lot that's very non-traditional about this. If you're looking for a Telecaster, this is not it. Firefly does sell another Telecaster too. You can find it on their website. It's another FFTL model. This is really geared more toward people that want a very interesting hybrid kind of guitar. You know, part Strat, part Tele. Or they're just a big fan of Prince and want to get a very reasonably priced copy of his guitar. So keep that in mind. That's very, very important. Okay, now for the giveaway rules, and as usual, they're going to be very, very simple. So the first thing you need to do is hit that thumbs up button, the like button, and I have no way of validating that, so we go by the honor system here. Second thing, please hit the subscribe button, which I will validate by going to your channel to make sure that I can see that you are a subscriber. And the third thing is in the comments section down below, leave the words "enter me." You can say whatever else you want to say along with that, but just include the words "enter me." And yes, I say this every time. This always elicits lots of jokes about the term "enter me," and so have fun with it if you need to. And that's it. And so what I'll do is I'll give a couple weeks for enough people to join in the giveaway, and then I'll come back and I'll do an announcement video, and then we'll figure out how to get the guitar to you. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and please hit that subscribe button if you want to catch my videos in the future as soon as they come out. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I'll attempt to answer them as time allows. Until next time, rock on.